Whenever you guys are ready, you can find your way to child's pose. And if you want your focus to be on your spine today, you can bring your feet together and your knees together. And if you want your focus to be more on the hips, you can bring your toes together and your knees as wide as your mat. So we're just getting started in child's pose. No rush, but you can come to a comfortable version of this pose as you're ready. You can rest your head on your stacked hands. You can reach the arms forward long on your mat, or you can bring them back behind you. Be a little bit more passive in the shoulders, whatever works for you in this moment. And as you arrive, you'll start to consciously relax the face, soften the breath. Release any tension in your jaw, any tension in the forehead and the eyebrows. And start to soften even more in the hips and in the spine. So that each gentle exhale you take, you feel your spine getting a little bit longer. Watching your breath fill up the lungs and the ribs, breathing into the back body. Each inhale, feeling your back body expanding. And each exhale, feeling your back body lengthening. Relax the shoulders, relax the neck. And release any holding in the glutes, in the belly. And just using this moment to check in with yourself. Make note of how your day's been, how you're starting your practice today. And just letting go of any thoughts or any feelings that you don't need to bring with you into your practice today. Just committing yourself for the next hour or so to be completely present with yourself. And letting go of any thoughts about the past or any thoughts about the future. And just finding that middle ground right here in the present. Now we'll start to activate your child's pose. So you can reach the arms forward if they're not there already. And start to root down in the hands, so much so that the arms lift off the mat. And then feel as if you're dragging the floor toward you as you bring yourself up to a tabletop position. And inhale, drop your belly down, lift your gaze, lift your tailbone to your cow pose. And exhale, sit the hips down on the heels back into your child's pose. Now inhale, come up onto your knees and reach your arms out to the side and up. And exhale, we'll come back into child's pose. We're going to flow like that just a few more times. Reaching the arms forward, inhale, come into your cow pose. And exhale back into child's pose. And then you inhale onto the knees, reaching the arms out and up. And exhale back to child's pose. We'll do one more round just like that. Inhaling, coming forward into your cow pose. Exhaling back, releasing to child's pose. Inhaling onto the knees, scooping the arms out and up. And exhale, releasing back, child's pose. Beautiful. And now inhale, pull yourself back into your cow pose. Inhaling, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale into your cat pose, just tucking the chin, tucking the navel, lifting the belly to the spine. I'm just moving like this a few times. So taking your time in your cat-cows. And if it feels better for you today to move one breath per movement, then feel free to do that. But there's also an option to explore taking a few breaths in each pose. So being in your cow pose for an inhale and an exhale. Then coming into your cat pose, being there for an inhale and an exhale. Just another option to maybe slow down the nervous system a little bit more if you're feeling pretty scattered today. And always the option to close the eyes. Maybe taking some side body stretches, maybe adding the neck into some movements. Just a few more rounds of breath, loosening yourself up. And then as you feel ready, you can come back to your neutral tabletop position. And we'll just warm up the shoulders a little bit in puppy pose. So you can walk the hands forward and melt the heart down into your puppy pose, bringing the forehead or chin to the mat or a block. Sending all your breath to the space between the shoulder blades, lifting your hips a little bit higher over the knees. Perfect. 2 more exhales here. And then just start to pull the navel up to the spine. Walk your hands back about halfway to where they were before. Just checking in, your wrist crease is parallel to the front edge of your mat. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog. So maybe this is the first down dog of the day. And regardless, just pedaling out the feet, putting a generous bend in opposite legs, stretching out the opposite hamstring, or maybe just bending both legs and keeping them bent. Maybe really shortening your stance, the space between the toes and the hands, just finding your own sweet spot in this moment, knowing that it will change on any given day. And you can broaden the shoulders just by bending the elbows out to the sides, hugging the biceps in toward the ears, and then straightening them out. So getting that extra width in the shoulder blades. And feeling energetically as if you could pull the ground up toward your hips. So all of the energy from your feet and your hands, just lifting your hips that much higher. Feeling the belly button pulling into the spine, finding more length in the low back. And the next inhale, you can bend the knees, look up toward the top of your mat, and just start to walk your feet to meet your hands. And we'll land in a halfway lift as you inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Just being here for about 2 breaths, just letting the torso be heavy, shifting the weight a little bit more toward the balls of the feet, and still lifting your sit bones really high, even when the knees are bent, just getting the spine super long. And then gently on your next inhale, you can start to roll your body up to stand. 1 vertebrae at a time, reaching the arms out and up at the top. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. So we're starting the class today with the vinyasa flow, having a little bit more movement, and we'll finish up in some passive yin poses. So as you're ready, you can inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, cactus your arms and open the heart. So bring the shoulder blades toward each other, the palms face away from you, backs of the hands coming in toward each other. Maybe a slight bend in the knees, just really feeling the heart open. And inhale, reach both arms up, palms face each other. And exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, long spine, halfway lift. And exhale, release. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. And exhale, cactus the arms, open the heart. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, forward fold. We'll do that same thing one more time. As you inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. As you exhale, release, forward fold. And inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Exhale, cactus the arms and open the heart. Inhale, reach. And exhale, forward fold. From here, inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, let it go. Plant your hands down and step back to your plank position. Always an option to bring the knees down here. It's just staying here for about 2 breaths, just really feeling the power of your plank, really pulling the belly into the spine. And then just slowly bending the elbows alongside the ribs, lowering yourself in one piece down to your mat, feeling that resistance. Inhale, lift your heart, baby cobra. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, push yourself back up through your tabletop or back up through plank and tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. So that is just one option for flow. But if you guys have another flow you'd like to do, whether that's chaturanga and up dog, or maybe just your cat-cows, or maybe child's pose and whatever else feels good to you. So just know whenever I say move through your flow, that's your option to kind of do whatever movements you need to do. And we'll meet in a downward facing dog. On your next inhale, raise your right leg back and up. And then exhale, bend your knee into the chest. As you shift your shoulders over wrists, bring the foot to the top of your mat in between the hands. Allow your back knee to drop down to the mat. Maybe untuck the toes so you can see what feels better on your knees. I like to have them untucked, but some people prefer tucked. And then just start to walk your hands onto your thighs. Or onto your right thigh, sorry. We're in this low lunge position. Feel your hips sinking forward and down. You can adjust your stance as you need to, but just check in that your front knee is over your front ankle. It might come forward just slightly, but you definitely don't want it over the toes. And then feel your inner thighs pulling in toward each other, so feeling that slight lift. And you can use your thigh as leverage to lift your heart a little bit higher. Feel the legs super strong, magnetically pulling in toward each other. Beautiful. And then bring your hands to heart center here and start to twist to your right. Maybe your left elbow hooks on the outside of your right knee. Breathing here and really feel yourself twisting from your navel. Feel the outside of your knee pushing into your elbow. Great. Maybe your gaze looks over the right shoulder. A few more breaths here. Other way, yeah. So your left elbow is on the outside of your right knee. Perfect. So you're feeling yourself twisting from the navel. The belly pulls into the spine and you find more space to twist. And then as you exhale, release back to center. Bring your hands to frame your front foot and then lift your sit bones back and up, straightening out your front leg. As you bring your toes closer to your shin, really exaggerating the stretch in the hamstring. If you have blocks, they can be really nice here, just on either side, or just come with the tented fingertips or onto your hands. But wherever you are, just keep feeling your right hip pull back. So you really want to feel the space from your right hip all the way through the back of the leg and the heel. Feel yourself hinging at the hips. The energy reaching from your tailbone through the heel. And then next inhale, you can rebend your front leg. Bring your hands to frame your front foot. Tuck your back toes and lift your back knee. Step back to a plank position. Move through a flow if you would like, or we'll meet in a down dog. Let out some big exhales here. Maybe sigh it out, maybe flutter the lips. Just really feel the difference in the legs and hamstrings. And as you're ready, we'll even ourselves out. So you can inhale, raise your left leg back and up. And exhale, bend your knee into the chest, shift your shoulders over wrists, and place the foot at the top of your mat. Let your back knee come down to the mat, and then just start to walk your hands onto your left thigh. And again, cushion under the knee here is very helpful. But just noticing right away, maybe one side feels quite different than the other, but keeping the same idea that we just had on the other side. So inner thighs are pulling in toward each other, feeling that lift. And then using your thighs leverage to lift your heart a little bit higher, slight back bend. You feel really nice here. And breathing into wherever you're feeling this the most. If your knee's talking to you pretty loudly, you can try to put more pressure in the top of your back foot or in the toes if they're tucked. Feeling how that just kind of shifts the weight away from the knee a little bit. Beautiful. Breathing into the right hip flexor. And then you can bring your hands to heart center and just start to twist to your left. Maybe you just stay up here like this, but if it's available, you can hook your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. And feel your hands shifting back toward heart center. So you're really feeling this leverage you're getting from pushing your knee into the elbow and then pushing your hands into each other, bringing your heart back in the center of the hands, or your hands in the center of the heart. And keeping everything the same with the legs here as well, really twisting from the navel, maybe looking over your left shoulder. Not forgetting about your back leg here either, so keeping your back leg active. And then you can slowly start to unwind. Bring your hands back to frame your front foot. Lift those sit bones back and up, and we'll come into this hamstring stretch on the other side. I was really feeling the toes reaching toward the shin here once again. And this time just really focusing on pulling your left hip back, your left sit bone, your left hip crease, however you want to think about it. And it's not actually going behind your right one, but the sensation of it pulling back will bring them even to each other. And then you're keeping your foot really active. That will deepen the stretch on your hamstring. And just send your breath there. Each exhale, just feeling yourself maybe hinging a little bit deeper or the hamstring surrendering a little bit more. And a few more breaths. So your next inhale, you can rebend your front leg. Bring your hands to frame your front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and step back to a plank. Move through a flow if you want to, and we'll meet in a down dog. And just really let it all out here. Notice anything that's getting stirred up. The next inhale, you can bend the knees, look up toward the top of your mat, and step up to a halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, rooted to rise all the way up. And exhale, hands come to heart center. We're going to move through the same flow we just did on either side, but this time one breath per movement. So it'll be a little bit quicker, but you guys know the poses already, so it should feel nice. So on your next inhale, you can raise both arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands down, step back to plank. Option to move through a flow here, and if not, we'll meet in a down dog. On your next inhale, raise your right leg back and up. And exhale, bend the knee into the chest, shift your shoulders over wrists as the foot comes to the top of your mat. Allow your back knee to drop down. As you inhale, raise your heart up. Hands can come to the thighs. And exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale here. And exhale, twist to your right, hooking the elbow here. One breath here. And exhale, unwind, come back to center. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, we'll fold over the right hamstring. One breath here. And next exhale, re-bend the front leg, frame your front foot, tuck the back toes and lift the back knee, stepping back to your plank or down dog. Moving through a flow if you would like, and we'll meet in a downward facing dog. As you're ready, we'll even ourselves out. You can inhale your left leg back and up. And exhale, knee comes into chest. As you shift the weight forward, bringing the foot to the top of your mat. Back knee comes down to the mat. Inhale, hands come onto your left thigh. One breath here. And then you can bring your hands to heart center. Inhale here. And exhale, twist to your left. Taking one breath here. And exhale, we'll unwind. Frame your front foot and lift the sit bones back and up, folding over your hamstring. One breath here. And exhale, re-bend your front leg, frame the front foot, tuck the back toes and lift the back knee, stepping back to your plank or down dog. And once you are in your downward facing dog, you can bend the knees and look forward and walk your feet up to meet your hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Just take a moment here, feeling your heartbeat, maybe feeling the sweat, letting your breath catch back up with you. We'll move through another flow on each side before we do some balancing and then come down to our yin postures. When you're ready, you can raise both arms up, inhale, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine, halfway lift, and exhale, release. Plant the hands down, step back to a plank. You can move through a flow if you'd like, or we'll meet in a down dog. On your next inhale, raise your right leg back and up. And then exhale, bend the knee into the chest and step the foot to the top of your mat. This time, step your back foot into warrior one leg, so the back toes are facing the front left corner of your mat. We'll inhale, arms rise up, warrior one. So if you pretend that there's headlights on your hips, just feel like they're facing directly in front of you. You can step your feet as wide as you need to achieve this. You can step your feet as close together as you need to. Just make sure the four corners of both feet are on the floor and your inner thighs pulling in toward each other. Front knees over front ankle. Beautiful. Awesome. Then you can raise the arms up. Let's get some more length in the side bodies. And take a breath here. And as you inhale, bring your hands to your hips and slowly straighten out your front leg. Lift your heart, inhale. And exhale, hinge at the hips to your pyramid pose. So you can stay like this with the hands on the hips here if this feels good on your hamstring, or you can bring your hands to frame your front foot, or to blocks if you have blocks. It can be really nice here, or even books or anything you got. But wherever you are, it's the same thing that we were doing in the hamstring stretch before, just feeling your right hip pull back, really just exaggerating that space between your right hip and your right heel. You can always adjust your feet, maybe stepping the back toes in a touch if that feels better. And just feeling yourself hinging at the hips, heart reaching toward your shin. Then you can bring your left hand to the ground, basically in front of your face, but underneath the shoulder. And then bring your right hand back to your sacrum. So first just feeling the evenness there. And then start to open your heart up to the right. We're setting up for a revolved triangle. So you might want to widen your stance here. Sometimes you can feel a bit wobbly. And then if this all feels good for you, you can reach your right fingertips up to the sky. So feel free to make any adjustments with your legs just to give you the most stable position here. And you're feeling this pretty nicely down the outside of your right leg, down the IT band. And just keeping that idea of your right hip pulling back. Beautiful. And then on your next exhale, you can release your right hand, framing the front foot once again. Plant both hands on the ground, and you can step back to your plank or down dog. And we'll meet in a down dog. We'll do that one more time just to even out. On your next inhale, you can raise your left leg back and up. And exhale, bend the knee into the chest and step the foot to the top of your mat. Your back toes step into warrior one legs. And inhale, arms up, warrior one. So you can bring your hands to your hips just to really feel your own alignment here. You can imagine that there's headlights on your hip bones, that they're facing directly in front of you. Four corners of both feet firm on the ground, front knees over that front ankle. And feeling the scissoring action of your hips. So your left hip's feeling like it's coming back, right hip's feeling like it's coming forward. And noticing how that stretches the right hip flexor a little bit deeper. And even tucking your tailbone down a little bit more. So exaggerating the length in the low back. Inhale, you can reach the arms up, get even longer in the side bodies. Awesome. And then hands can come to your hips as you inhale and straighten the leg as you lift the heart. And then exhale, hinge at your hips, pyramid pose. The same thing over here. You can move pretty slowly coming into this and either frame your front foot. You can adjust your legs as much as you need to just feel stable and that you're stretching deep into your left hamstring. Feeling the core really stable, feeling yourself hinging at the hips rather than folding. Folding is okay too though. So if you're folding, then fold. And if you're hinging, then hinge. Just pick one of them. Just feeling your left hip continue to pull back. And then when you're ready, we'll come into that revolved triangle pose. So you can bring your right hand right underneath the shoulder, or if you have any sort of height, it can be super helpful here. Your left hand will come back to your sacrum, and then just feeling that shifting of the hips here. And then you start to open your heart to your left, so feeling your left shoulder stack more on top of the right. Perfect. And then if all that feels okay, you can reach your left fingertips up to the sky. But just continue to feel that hip pulling back and maybe widening the stance just a little bit, just to give yourself more room to twist. Your gaze can be directly in front of you, can be down at your mat or up at the fingertips. Just really feeling this nice stretch down the IT band. Another breath here. And then next exhale, you can release your hand back to frame the front foot. Bring both hands down to frame your front foot and step back to a plank. You can move through a flow or we'll meet in a down dog. Almost done with the vinyasa. So as you're ready, this time let's walk our hands back to meet our feet. So you can let the hands move from the shoulders, just rolling the shoulders back. And we'll land halfway lift at the back of your mat. And exhale, forward fold. Let's take 2 breaths here. Just really release everything here. Release the face, the neck, the head, the shoulders, maybe wiggle something out. And then as you're ready, you can inhale and rise yourself up to stand. And reach the arms out and up when you arrive. And exhale, hands come to heart center. We'll move through one balancing pose on each side. We'll come into tree pose. So first we'll just start by feeling completely stable in your mountain pose. So feeling both feet firm on the ground, you can lift the toes and really feel the feet actively reaching into your mat. And then try to grip each toe down individually. You can't really do that, but if you can, that's the strength of the toes. And then just start to shift all your weight into your left leg, left side of your body, but leaving your right leg there for support. Just feeling sturdy here. Then you can bring your right foot into kickstand, so your right heel comes to your left ankle, the toes come to the ground. And this can be your tree pose. If this is feeling like it's challenging your balance, this can be your tree pose. You can bring your hands to heart center. Keep feeling like the back of your right knee is reaching back behind you, so feeling that opening of the hips. Finding a focal point, staying there. And if this feels okay, you can bring the sole of your foot to your calf, but keeping everything the same. So keeping your knee pulling back and your hips opening up, keeping your standing leg really strong, so maybe a micro bend. And then if you want to come further, you can bring it to the inside of your thigh. You just want to avoid the knee area. Yeah. You want to bring it either to your thigh, your calf, or to the floor. Wherever it is perfect. It'll change any given day, any given hour. But no matter where you are in this pose, just really focus on the center line of your body. Focus on the energy coming up through the sole of your left foot. Focus on pushing your balancing foot into your standing leg as you push your standing leg into your balancing foot. Pushing your hands into each other as well. So feeling all this energy you're creating in the center line of the body. Maybe the hands even reach up if that feels better. Feeling all the little muscles of your foot, of your leg. Few more breaths. Staying with your breath. And then very slowly, you can release your right foot to the ground. Challenge yourself with going slowly. But then when you release, you can shake out your standing leg, Roll out the ankle maybe. And then we'll do that on the other side. So first, just feeling firm on both feet. And then shifting the weight into the right side of your body this time. And one side balancing is most likely going to be significantly easier than the other. So first, just feeling firm here. And then bringing your left foot into kickstand. But just focusing, you can even close the eyes. This will really challenge you to close the eyes when you're just in kickstand. And focus on feeling your hips opening up. So the outside of your left knee pulling back behind you, but your hips stay square to the front. You're not opening the hips up to the side. They're just, your left hip is opening up. And then you have a micro bend in your right leg just so that you feel the muscles working. And maybe this is good. If you want to come a little further, you can bring it onto the calf, but keeping all the ideas the same. So now exaggerating, pushing your standing leg into the bouncing foot and the foot back into the leg. And then if that feels good, you can grab hold of the ankle and bring it to the inside of the thigh. Really focusing on all the tiny components of this pose, drawing the energy up through the sole of the right foot, feeling the space from the sole of your foot all the way through the crown of the head, feeling that really straight line you're creating. All the little muscles in the toes and the feet working hard. The core is active as well. Feel the pelvic floor activate as well. It can bring more stability. A few more rounds of breath. And as slowly as you came into this, you can start to come out of this. And once your left foot makes it to the ground, shaking out that standing leg. And now we'll come into the yin portion of the class. So you can find your way at the top of your mat. And we'll come into a malasana squat to start. So bring your feet as wide as your mat, with your toes pointing out to the sides. Your hands can come to heart center. And put a bend in your knees and then bring your elbows to the insides of the knees. And then from here, you can sink your hips down as you lift the heart up. So you can always bring something for support underneath the hips. We won't be here for too long. This is more of a transition pose. Yogi squat or malasana squat. Feeling the heart lifting into the thumbs pushing back into the heart. Beautiful. And then you can point the fingertips forward as you really slowly bring your seat to the ground. And then you can reach the legs long in front of you, just shake them out. So we'll come into a wide leg forward fold, but in yin we call it dragonfly. So you can bring your legs as wide as is comfortable, just definitely wider than the hips. You can grab the flesh of your sit bones and just pull it back so you feel the bones rooting down. Your hands can come right in front of you. And we'll just inhale, lift the heart for a moment. And exhale, surrender and fold here. If you have any props around you, if you have pillows or blankets, or even just stacking your fists, it can be really nice. But let yourself be supported here. We're going to be here for about 3 minutes. So you don't want to go as far as you possibly can go. You just want to come to your natural stopping point. So it's about 70% of how far you think you can go in this pose. And then just finding your breath there, finding your peace there. You can do a body scan and just notice where you might be holding any tension that maybe you were unaware of. Just consciously relaxing the forehead, the eyebrows, and the eyelids, the cheeks, the jaw, the neck and the shoulders, even the lips. Just really feel all the muscles in your face sort of hanging off of the bones. Relax your belly, relax your pelvic floor, your glutes, your hips, and all the muscles in the legs and the feet, the hands as well. Let the goal of this pose be, how deeply can you surrender? How much can you relax? There's no need to control any part of the breath. Just trust in the natural intelligence of the breath, trusting that the breath will travel where it needs to go. Just noticing the effect of gravity, noticing the weight of gravity, and how when you surrender into this position, your body will naturally release a bit deeper. There's no need to pull yourself there. Noticing any repeating thoughts. And just letting each thought be a cue to return your attention to the body and to the breath. We all have different reactions to these more passive poses. Sometimes the mind gets super quiet, and other times it ramps up quite a bit. Just noticing where you stand today. And just count about 5 more of your deepest and fullest exhales. Just see how far you can surrender. And very slowly and very gently, and begin to walk your hands back toward your hips. Taking your time, being gentle. And just grabbing the outsides of the legs and slowly bring them in together. Do whatever you need to do to reset here. Maybe just give yourself a hug, or maybe take a few windshield wipers with the knees. Our next yin pose is a great one. So if you're in your windshield wipers, just allow both your knees to come to your right. And then you'll bring your left hand up around and circle it around in front of you. So you'll bring both hands back behind you in line with the hips. It's coming into deer pose. So you're feeling that your shoulders, you're good. Your shoulders are square to the mat and your hips are square to your left. So your left hip feels like it's sort of on top or diagonal from your right hip. And if you have any pillows here, this can be really, really nice. Or even you can lay on the floor too, if that's available for you. Or if you have a bolster, bolsters are the best here. But wherever you are, just surrendering into this gentle twist. If you'd like to ease off a little bit on the twist, you can turn onto your right cheek, so bringing your gaze to your left. Or if you want to come a little bit deeper into this, you can turn onto your left cheek. So turning your gaze to the right. The same thing as in all the yin postures. Just seeing how much you can release. Letting your belly relax. Letting your face relax. Just resting easy in that truth that there is nothing else you should be doing. This is exactly where you need to be, or else you wouldn't be here. Even if the mind or body wants to fidget or escape, just trust. Trust that you are here for a reason. And just let yourself rest. Counting about 5 more really deep and full exhales. And seeing what else you can let go of. As you feel ready, you can very gently begin to come back onto the hands. Walk the hands back the way you came, circling back around. Bringing knees back up to center. Maybe resetting with a few windshield wipers if you need to, or if you're ready, you can come right into this on the other side. So both knees will drop off to your left. And then you can circle your right arm around in front of you and walk both hands back behind you. Coming into deer pose on the other side. Feeling your hips now square to your left and shoulders coming back square to the floor. And again, your gaze can be off over your right shoulder if you want to ease off, or if you want to just make this a little bit deeper, you can gaze over your left shoulder. And if you ever have any trouble sleeping or any problems with digestion, I can't recommend this pose enough. It's in the middle of the night if you are having trouble sleeping. It's a really, really nice and effective pose to take. Just feeling your belly soften. Feeling your shoulders opening up a little bit more. The face relaxing a little bit deeper. allowing yourself to rest here. I'm just counting about 5 more full exhales, seeing what else you can let go of. Whenever you feel ready, you can very slowly, gently start to come onto the hands, walking the hands back the way you came, bringing knees back up to center. Maybe just give yourself a hug, or a few windshield wipers, whatever you gotta do. And then whenever you feel ready, you can just slowly make your way down to lay on your backs. You can hug the knees into the chest when you arrive, and just gently rock side to side, massaging the low back. And when you feel ready, you can reach both feet up to the ceiling and just shake them out. And then reach both arms up to the ceiling. And just allowing all of your limbs to rest in their sockets. Releasing all the muscles in the legs, the arms, and the hands and the feet. As if they're wading in water. Just allowing them to rest in the hip sockets and the shoulder sockets. You pin the 4 corners of your torso against the mat. Maybe feeling them get a little bit warm and tingly with this change in blood flow. Just allowing that to happen. Feeling any toxic or negative energy that you don't need exiting your body through the hands and the feet. As all the positive energy soaks into your body, soaks into the torso, the heart center. And then when you feel ready, you can just bend the knees and come into your happy baby. Just grabbing whatever's available, the feet, the toes, the ankles, the shins, or the thighs. Feeling the hips open up toward the ceiling. Maybe rocking side to side, or just finding some stillness. Whenever you feel ready, you can just bring the soles of the feet to find each other and slowly lower the outside edges of the feet to find the mat beneath your hips into your reclined ground angle pose. Just letting the knees fall off to the sides. Letting the arms rest wherever they're comfortable. Be by your sides, on your belly, maybe a hand on the belly, a hand on the heart, whatever feels right and natural in this moment. And if this pose feels great for you, you're welcome to stay as long as you need. If you feel ready, you can straighten out your legs and come into your final Shavasana. Feeling your body be fully supported by the mat beneath you and by the earth beneath your mat. Surrendering every muscle in your body into your mat. Allowing your eyeballs to sink back and down into the skull. Turning your inner gaze to peer into the forehead. Feeling that pulsing sensation of the forehead, the space between the eyebrows. Letting your jaw release and hang heavy. Letting your throat rest on the back of your neck. Feeling the pulsing sensation of your throat. Feeling your shoulders rooting into your mat. Your chest and collarbones expand with your heartbeat. Feeling your heartbeat travel down your arms, into the palms of your hands and each of your fingers. And letting your heartbeat travel down your torso, relaxing the ribs and the lungs. And coming into your belly. Feeling the pulsing of the belly, the lower belly, and the pelvic floor. Feeling the glutes soften. Feeling the length and the weight of your legs. Allowing all the muscles to roll off of the bones. Feeling the heartbeats in the soles of your feet and each of your toes. Feeling the pulsing of the very crown of your head. And resting in this total body awareness. Feeling the healing benefits of this practice swimming throughout your body. If you would like to stay in your Shavasana for longer, please feel free to do so. And just close your computer and stay as long as you need. If you're feeling ready to come out of this, you can allow my voice to guide you. Just noticing how slow your breath has become. Starting to consciously deepen the breath. Filling yourself up with air from the toes to the tip of your head, every corner of your body, being energized a little bit more with each inhale. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe rock your head side to side. Reaching the arms up for a nice morning stretch if you would like. Maybe letting out a nice big yawn. Bring your knees in toward the chest when you feel ready. Just find your way to a fetal position on one side. I'm just taking a moment here. Just making sure to leave behind anything you don't need, leaving it behind on your mat. Only taking with you that which serves you. And as you feel ready, you can slowly make your way up to your seat, just leaving the eyes closed for now. We'll meet with our hands at heart center whenever you arrive. Just taking this moment to fully and deeply thank yourself for your practice today. And may this practice continue to heal you throughout the rest of your evening into a wonderful night's sleep. And may you bring some of this love and light into everything you do and to everyone that you see. Namaste.